Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. For those of you that are new to the channel, welcome to Johnny Mac Games. And for those of you that are returning subscribers, welcome back to another New World video. So in this video, we have a very chunky boy. For those of you that are not subscribed to the Twitter account for New World, they put out a notification late last night that the 1.1 patch was dropping today. Now, currently the worlds are under maintenance, and they are approximately going to be down for around 4 hours, and it started at 8 EST. At the time of this recording, it's now 11:41 EST, so we still got a few more hours before the patch is complete. So for those of you that are not in the know, and maybe you've been away from the game for a while, we are on the precipice of a total game-changing patch. 1.1, which the developers have dubbed Into the Void, brings a large amount of bug fixes as well as an extraordinary amount of rebalancing and system changes. So let's go ahead and dive into the developer blog slash article, shall we? Into the Void Gauntlet, new enemies, balance, and bug fixes. And for a little comedic relief, hopefully no bug introductions. That would be bad. New weapon, of course. Can't talk either today, apparently. Of course, the one thing that everybody has been waiting for, especially the Void Gauntlet, of course. The Void Gauntlet has manifested in Eternum. Manipulate the powers of the Void to support your allies and debilitate your enemies with this magical damage/support hybrid weapon. It's the first weapon to scale on both intelligence and focus, making it a great pairing with the life staff and other magical weapons. Adventurers will be able to progress through 2 weapon mastery trees, allowing the player to manipulate void magic in different ways. The Annihilation tree focuses on maximizing damage at close range and revolves around the Void Blade, a summoned blade of corrosive void energy. The Decay tree offers ranged healing and debuffs and revolves around the Orb of Decay, a dual-phase projectile that can debuff enemies and heal allies. With its arsenal of buffs and debuffs, the Void Gauntlet is perfect for group combat and significantly bolster your allies at the expense of your enemies. And got some pretty neat little armor there in this picture for those of the keen-eyed. Of course, we've got new enemies, the Varangian Knights. The Varangians are a force of invading knights currently raiding southeastern Eternum. They are led by Lord Commander Attalus, a Gaul with a reputation for brutality and a twisted sense of humor. Commander Attalus and Varangians are vassals to a powerful warlord named Varric the Hammer Isnov. They have been sent to southeastern Eternum in search of magical artifacts and arcane lore left behind by the Crimson Sorcerer. Their goal is to secure magical weapons that will help their lord in his conquests. The Varangians are fiercely competitive and will vie with one another to curry favor with Lord Commander Attalus. While why these fearsome warriors have arrived is a question to all, face off against multiple new types of enemies, including the Varangian Hewer, Varangian Scout, Varangian Knight, and Varangian Archer, as you ascertain what they are chasing in Eternum. So that's pretty... Oh, got some nice little screenies there. World experience. Now, let's get into the meat and potatoes of this patch. So, added starter zone visual variety and improvements. Updated visuals have been added to the starter areas. Now, exactly what that means, I'm not entirely sure. I guess we'll find out whenever the patch goes live, but I find that verbiage to be very vague, to say the least. Corruption and withered vessels have been amplified in farms and points of interest. Ezra's Forge has been updated and moved from Amrine Temple to Southwest Windsward. Run faster on roads. This is a big deal here, guys. While running on roads, you will now receive a movement bonus. Movement speed bonus of 10% while traveling on roads. The move speed bonus will not trigger unless the player has been running for 3 seconds and they are on a road. The movement bonus will be cancelled if a player engages in combat. in any way, such as dodging, blocking, attacking, or being hit with a debuff. Movement speed bonus is not active while player is actively engaged in wars, outpost rush, or duels. So any of your PvP instant stuff, you won't have a speed bonus, right? Here's another big one, and this is one that a lot of people are a little on the fence with, but I guess we'll see how it works. Added a 10% luck bonus and a 30% gathering luck bonus to players flagged for PvP. Let me repeat that one more time. Added a 10% luck bonus and a 30% gathering luck bonus to players flagged for PvP. So this is their way of trying to encourage players to flag up for PvP. It's been a central issue for a few weeks now. It's been a lot of complaints about it. So this is kind of their way of encouraging people to flag for PvP. I know I'm usually pretty guilty about not flagging for PvP, mainly because, you know, I've only just recently hit level 50 and I really don't want to get steamrolled. But now that I've hit 50, you know, I feel a little bit more comfortable. I feel like I can at least win or, you know, give a good fight with at least half of my engagements. But 30% gathering luck, guys. So let me just pause for just a second and I'll probably state what might be obvious to some or might not be obvious to some. With the crafting changes that are also being implemented with this patch, it's kind of their way, I think, of ensuring that there is a boost to the higher tiered items that are required for crafting. It's kind of, this patch has kind of put a damper on the lower tier items. So in this manner, I think this is the kind of their way of, you know, risk versus reward and kind of help balance that out. So we'll see how it works. I know this is a big one for me. I was kind of dreading the fact because I farm up a lot of lower tiered spices and stuff like that for trade on the trading posts. But this definitely catches my interest. So 30% luck while gathering, and you flag for PvP, of course. Very interesting. So moving on. Notable bug fixes. Fixed issues with various AI stuck in cliffs or boulders. Fixed issues with boss gating and triggering in expeditions where some doors would show as closed but would be open instead. Fixed several issues in expeditions that allowed players to attack enemies without getting hit or heal teammates without being in an encounter. Various enemy vitals, names, and versions have been updated, fixed various issues with missing or incorrect world collision and navigation mesh. This is kind of big. So hopefully traversal will have been smoothed out a lot more. I know that there's a lot of instances where you're running around uneven terrain and all of a sudden you get like this weird hitching. So hopefully this fixes a good amount of that. I suspect that they'll probably find more. So you'll probably see this a lot more in future patches. Changes to quests. New PvP faction missions have been added. Control points. Seize control of a fort. Intercept, defeat enemy faction members, and collect their tiers. I think that's kind of funny. It's going to be interesting if you actually do have to collect their tiers. War camp loot. Retrieve hidden plans at the enemy's war camp. That's a very interesting one. We've updated several quests in the main storyline to improve the player experience with more compelling dynamics, including wave encounters, destructible objects, and proximity tracking nodes. As a result of these changes, players may find their progress reset for some main storyline quests. Quest Old Stone Remembers and New Initiate Old Order have undergone more extensive restructuring, and players who were on these quests will need to return to Jonas in Fisherman's Bend to re-accept the quests. Updated the location of one of the Survivalist Wolf Den quest in First Light to reduce the amount of travel. The encounter design has also been updated to a wave event in all 3 starter zones. And notable bug fixes. Starting zone faction missions have been updated so early players will not be given missions to hunt sheep. Faction rank 2 quests are now offered at level 20 but are still recommended for level 25 plus players. Return to Innkeep. Quests now reward the proper amount of Azoth. Let me just peruse down through here. Map pins were updated for hunt missions and Elder's Gate to be more accurate. That was kind of a big one for a lot of people. Dun, 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 dun. Well, I'm not going to go over every single one of these, but I am going to leave the link to these patch notes in the description below if you want to read more details on that. Well, let's talk about World Tech. Notable bug fixes. Fixed an issue causing certain AI to spawn more frequently than intended. This is a rampant issue around the map. Sometimes you'll be killing pretty fast, and all of a sudden it's like they're just spawning right in behind you. So hopefully this is going to help limit that. Fixed various issues that could occur when interacting with the journal entries scattered across the world. Fixed an issue with Town Projects board failing to refresh. This I've fallen victim to several times, and it's quite annoying. You'll go up to the project board, and there might be only like one thing that you can pick up for whatever crazy reason. So hopefully that fixes it. PvP experience bonus will no longer apply when in an expedition. Didn't even know that was a thing, but I'm glad they fixed that. Combat and AI. Fixed a bug that allowed the well-fed buff to stack from different tiers of types of food. The most recent instance of the buff will now replace any previous versions. So anybody that was aware that you could do this, no longer going to be able to do it. Fixed the bug that prevented weapon coating items from being consumed properly when used. Okay. Gear perks. This is a pretty big one. Increased scaling of leeching perks on rings and weapons from a range of 0.5% to 1.5% damage converted to health on hit to a range of 1% to 5%. That is huge. 5% at the top end. That's crazy. Increase the efficiency of Freedom, Vigor, and Invigorate debuff reduction perks from a range of 3 to 5 based on gear to a range of 3 to 8%. 8% being the top end now. That is also crazy. Decrease the cooldown of Keen Speed perk, which grants haste on critical hits from 10 seconds to 5 seconds. Also, very big one. This is going to be big in PvP. For those that actually rely on that perk to gain extra speed and mobility, that's kind of a big one. And increased haste duration from 2 seconds to 3 seconds, so it'll proc more often and last a second longer. So that's interesting. That's going to change things a little bit as well. Increase the poisoning, bloodletting, burning, crippling, enfeebling, and infected effects during on-ring perks from a range of 3 to 7% to a range of 5 to 15%. 15 on the top end. That is crazy. Crazy. That's going to change PvP, probably as well. So, equipped load. Increase the healing bonus of the light equipped load from 20 to 30%. And increase the healing bonus from medium equip load from 10 to 15%. So a little bit of buff to light armor spec and medium armor spec, which in my opinion was definitely needed. Navigation updates. Traveling and traversal are now disabled when navigation is disabled, such as when hit with a root effect. Updated the vault camera to smooth out the motion, so now it's not quite as jarring whenever you vault over an object. Updated jump in place to allow translation while in air. Fixed various animation bugs alongside a variety of issues to smooth out general navigation. So a lot of fixes here to how smooth your character moves about in the world, basically, is what they're saying here. Once again, I'm not going to read all of these fixed issues, but like I said, I'll have a link down in the description below if you want to go over all of these bugs. If I go over all these, this is going to be like a 30-minute video, and I don't think you guys want that. Duels. Fixed an exploit by preventing gathering while in duels, so players can no longer duel to avoid durability damage while gathering. That's an interesting one. Didn't even know that was a thing, but okay. Attribute threshold bonus. Reduce the damage reduction provided by the 250 Constitution bonus from 80 to 60, so a little bit of a debuff there. Fixed a bug that caused the 250 Constitution bonus cooldown to trigger on a blocked hit. Fixed a bug that was preventing players from dodge canceling out of attacks during an ability's recovery window when the 250 strength bonus was active. Dodge fixed an issue causing two-handed melee and magic staff dodge rolls to have a smaller invulnerability window than the other weapon types. So a little bit of a buff there, which is good. Fixed inconsistent cancel timings between dodges of different weapon types. Fixed a bug which could cause a backwards dodge to result in a small teleport. I've actually fallen victim to this. Fixed an issue that caused players to not take damage from AoE if they dodged into the affected area. So Frost Wall, kind of a big deal. Is pretty worthless. Anybody that got hit by it, you could just simply jump out of it. So hopefully this will kind of counteract that. War structures are now immune to buffs and debuffs that logically wouldn't affect the siege weapon and deployable structures. Kind of a big deal. Disabled player collision on Inferno traps due to players occasionally getting stuck on them. Made it so player can't deal damage to other players with weapon abilities through fort gates and war camp gates. Also, really big deal. So thank goodness for this change. I'm sure everybody that's into that major PvP endgame, this is going to be a big relief to them. Outpost Rush reduced the power of Battle Bread from 15% damage and defense to 5% damage and defense. Reduced the damage reduction on the Baroness buff from 25 to 15. Reduced the damage and defense on the Commander Tent from 5, 7.5, and 15 to 3, 6, and 9. So Outpost Rush got some nerfs on some various items there. From what I understand, they were also very needed. A little bit too strong. Notable bug fixes. Backstab. Fixed a bug that could cause backstab to trigger when attacking players from the front. Big deal. On block, fixed a bug that caused some weapon mastery passives that state they trigger on block to trigger against unblockable attacks. And cooldown timers. Fixed an issue where various passives and perks cooldown timers were being removed when swapping weapons or unequipping gear. Kind of a big deal, right? A huge multitude of weapon buffs. Pretty much every weapon either got some sort of buff or, slight little debuff. But the one that is most notable, in which I'm not going to go through, like I said, all of these, the hatchet, there were several issues fixed, but infected throw is kind of a big deal right now. Increased disease and weakness duration from 5 seconds to 10 seconds. So this is kind of supposed to act as like an anti-heal, so to speak, because there have been a lot of issues with the healing tank meta. Mortal power, increased bonus duration on low health targets from 8 to 15 seconds, and then aerial transmission increased the duration of the AoE cloud from 3 to 6 seconds. So they doubled that. Rending throw, they reduced the cooldown from 15 seconds to 8 seconds. And Defied Death fixed an issue where the Defied Death ultimate cooldown timer was removed when a player died. So that's kind of a big deal as well. The next one we want to touch is Rapier, in which Rapier, man, like I have a feeling we're going to be seeing a lot of Rapier. We might be entering in the age of the Rapier meta, right? Fixed an issue where Tornado, Flourish, Flechet had their cooldown begin 1 frame before the hitbox would appear. This resulted in the abilities going on cooldown if the attack was interrupted early, even if it did not hit. Flurry improved the homing of Flurry to fix an issue where subsequent attacks would frequently miss or be hard to hit. Overwhelm fixed an issue where this upgrade was incorrectly applying stamina damage instead of just block damage. Tondo reduced cooldown from 11 seconds to 6 seconds, and again fixed an issue that caused this upgrade to only function on blocking targets. Riposte cooldown reduced from 20 seconds to 12 seconds. Base stun duration increased from 1.5 seconds to 2 seconds. Lasting consequence, stun duration increased from 2 seconds to 2.5 seconds. And then passives, momentum increased bonus damage from 25 to 30. And swiftness fixed an issue where this passive was granting haste from bleed damage ticks instead of actual weapon hits. So Rapier users, you got a lot of love in this patch, a lot of love. Once again, I'm not going to go through all of these changes for the weapons. There have been quite a significant amount. Once again, there will be a link to this in the description below. AI, general AI, new AI enemies. Of course, we already went over that. New lost enemies. Withered Swarmancer, Withered Beetle, Lost Shaman, Lost Alligator Pet, Ancient Guardian, Skeleton Mage, Corrupted Villager updates. The strong corrupted laborer has put down his pickaxe and picked up some weights, now looking larger than ever. Villagers have had their attack sets reviewed and reworked to better differentiate them. That's pretty cool. That's pretty neat. Look at that. And there's the new beetle. I will say I absolutely love that beetle. I certainly hope that one of these days, maybe not necessarily soon, but at some point in time, they allow us to charm pets, because I'm charming one of these guys. Freaking awesome. Bug fixes and AI tuning. A huge list. Huge list, guys. I mean, look at all these. I mean, there's just so much to go over. Let's go over expeditions. I think those are pretty important. Amarine excavation, Simon Gray adjusted Simon's FXs to always be the same static effect between each spawn. Fixed an issue causing him to not pause summoning minions after all of his minions are killed. Foreman Nakashima adjusted Nakashima's affixes to always be the same static effect between each spawn. The depths, Archdeacon Azmala fixed an issue allowing his bounds to be repeatedly killed or his hounds, sorry, to be repeatedly killed for experience and loot. Fixed an issue causing hounds to not play proper spawn animations. Fixed a rare issue where Azmala would try to attack players outside of his arena. Fixed an issue where the teleporters could be left on after a team wipe. Fixed an issue causing teleport visual effects to not apply to the player. And fixed an issue causing his obelisk to not show beam visual effects. Fixed an issue that allowed the corrupted carapace over Captain Thorpe's teleporter to be damageable by enemies. Fixed an issue that made, I can't even pronounce that, actually, enemies immune to all crowd control debuffs. Dynasty Shipyard, Commander Chen, tighten up Commander Chen's damage volume so that he deals more consistent damage in the expected locations. Isabella's pets, fixed an issue where Isabella wouldn't look at the player she was targeting with her pistol shot. Fixed an issue where the death of Isabella's tigers could empower the AI outside of the arena. And fixed an issue causing Isabella to only deal strike damage. Empress, fixed an issue causing the Dragon Breath spell to kill players in Death's Door. Fixed an issue causing Pearl pedestals to continue casting even after death. Fixed an issue causing Pearl pedestals hitbox to be too high. Adjusted timing on Dragon Dive so that it is less likely to hit players before the visual appears. Fixed an issue causing Corruption Blast to be difficult to block for players who are very close, such as the group's tank. Fixed an issue causing the Empress to be vulnerable to damage during specific animations while in Phase 2. Garden of Genesis changes. Alluvium Marl fixed an issue causing his minions to be level 57 instead of 66. Fixed an issue causing Elvirium's Dive attack to sometimes deal no damage. Fixed an issue that could sometimes cause players to become stuck in Elvirium Marl's root arena wall. Blighted Greenskeeper fixed an issue preventing the small poison pools from dealing proper damage, and reduced damage of Siren's Scream by 15%. So if you get caught by that, take 15% less. That's always good. Lazarus Instrumentality. Scylla fixed an issue where Scylla's staff phase would last too long, causing the conduits to become out of sync with her arcane might stacks. Chartist fixed a rare issue that allowed Chartist Beam to continue after all players were dead. Slightly increased the damage volume size to Chartist's armpits for more consistent hits. Fixed an issue that prevented Chartist from taking bonus damage from the Ancient Bane perk. Fixed an issue that prevented the Ice Gauntlets in Tomb from being damaged by Chartist's laser. And fixed an issue that allowed Chartist to be damaged by throwing hatchets from outside of his arena. Fixed several issues that prevented Chartist and his Lazarus orbs from being damaged by player abilities. And then, of course, let's see, arena bosses. Avarice fixed an issue that allowed Avarice minions to drop loot, and then reduced the model size of Banes. So here's another big one. economy, progression, and loot. So faction change cooldown has been reduced to 60 days from the 120 days. That's a big one. I know there are a lot of people on other servers that feel the desire to change factions. Now you can do that twice as fast, right? Repair kit weight has been reduced from 2 to 0.1. We felt 2 was too heavy, and 0.1 is not very heavy at all. It should be easy to keep a few at the ready in your back pocket. Added the item chunk of consecrated iron to the top rank of the faction shop for all factions. Chunks of consecrated iron are used to craft the resilient perk for armor items. So that's a big one. So for those of you that want the resilient perk, there you go. Big one, economy. All trading posts have been linked. This is a huge point of controversy. There are a lot of people that are perfectly okay with this. There are other people that are not so okay with this. I myself am on the posts. It's going to do several things at once. It's going to drive the prices of various commodities down. I will definitely be greatly affected by this myself personally because I do a lot of spice trading. But with the various other changes to the actual crafting system where crafting is now stagnant in certain areas, it's going to beef up the prices of higher level tiered items, right? So it's creating a good market for those higher tiered items. So in a way, it very well might turn out to be more balanced, and we just kind of got to roll with the punches, guys. I mean, it is what it is, right? So all trading posts have been linked. Both the listing tax and purchase tax will be paid to the territory where the buy or sell order was listed. Items listed in sell orders that expire are returned to the settlement from which they were posted. So if you list it in Everfall and it expires in Everfall, no matter where you're at, it's going to return to Everfall. It is no longer possible to place items on the trading post for 28 days. The maximum is now 14 days. Reduced durability lost from PvP deaths by 10%. That's kind of a good one. So if you die a lot, you're gonna take 10% less durability now. Reduce the quantity of honey gained from apiaries by 50% and the amount of milk from cows by 65%. Honey trees are unaffected by this change. We made this change because the volume of milk and honey in the world is higher than our initial estimates. The bees and cows are happy about this change. Housing taxes are now due every 7 days instead of every 5 days. No changes to the cost, so players will gain 2 days of housing time without an increase to their taxes. So that's a nice little addition, kind of gives us a little bit more money in our pocket. I've felt that the whole 5-day cycle was a little weird anyway. 7 days to me makes a lot more sense. Progression. Reduced territory standing gains from cooking, as there was a bit more generous when compared to similar efforts put into other crafting trade skills. Updated a Harpless Homestead Town project to now require 1 mission item instead of 5. Increased the XP requirements for progressing crafting trade skills. Once players unlock a new tier of recipes, ergo iron to steel, the XP requirements to continue progressing by just crafting things at the previous tier will be significantly diminished. However, it should still take the same amount of effort to progress the crafting skill if you craft items in the highest tier you are capable of crafting. So what that means is that, instead of being able to just craft a tier 1 recipe and just craft hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of them all the way up to max level, you're not going to be able to do that anymore. So in them making this change, they made higher quality items more viable, and now there is going to be a new emerging market. The new emerging market is going to be, your higher tiered items, such as like your animal eyes, your broccolis, stuff like that. So make sure that you keep your eyes out for that particular emerging market. I have a feeling that prices are going to be surging in those higher tiered item markets. So make sure that you're watching your trading post, guys, because it's going to be interesting. Trade skills, potion crafting update. We felt that some of the higher tier core potions, particularly health potions and mana potions, were a little too difficult to craft. So we updated the recipes to craft these items and introduced a new alchemical component to do so, the Alkahest. Alkahest is crafted by distilling the magical herbs found throughout Eternum and serves as a reliable and potent base for potions going forward. So no matter what, you have to craft the Alkahest in the various tier levels in order to craft the corresponding potions. So it is your base recipe for all potions moving forward into 1.1. Rare resources from gathering nodes. Thanks to reports in the forums, we found a probability issue with rare resources from tier 2, 3, and 4 gathering nodes and resolved it. Thanks to everyone who contributes to making New World better with your reports. The short version is we had a couple of probabilities that were multiplying each other, resulting in near zero chance of some already rare items dropping. This combined with an issue that could make it next to impossible for an item to drop if your luck values were too high, not exactly how luck should work, which translated into a luck sweet spot that you had to be in to even have a chance, that near zero chance, at getting a drop. With this fix, things like Fey Iron, Void Metal, Phase Fiber, and Petrified Wood should now have an appropriate chance to drop after you reach a certain trade skill level. This chance can be increased by eating the appropriate trade skill food, I do believe is what I should say, trade skill food, when gathering. Trade skill foods also enables the possibility for these to drop before you would ordinarily be able to receive them based on your trade skills level alone. Ailbit is a very rare rate. Fishing. Opening fishing mission now requires 3 woodlouse bait instead of 5. I'm not exactly sure why that was a thing. I mean, I guess maybe it takes a little bit longer to get that extra 2 woodlouse. I don't know. Loot and rewards. Added several new named items as special drops from named knights found in the world. Knights that are quest targets don't have special drops. Added a new style of weapons that drop from the knight enemy type. Rook's defense tower shield now has a tower shield appearance instead of a kite shield appearance. Added a set of weapons designed by the participants of the Battle for a New World event. These weapons are tier 5 and capable of being legendary if they roll a gear score of 600. And a huge amount of notable bug fixes. Once again, I'm not going to go through all these because we're already running pretty long into the video already. UX, UI, and social. Streamer mode updates. Players can now individually block company invites, group invites, friend invites, coin transfer, trade request, duel request, and chat direct messages. Choosing the full do not disturb will turn off all incoming notifications. Added notifications to the sending player to let them know their invites or requests are blocking when sending to a player actively using streamer mode. So that's good. So if somebody has streamer mode on, you send them an invite, you'll get a notification that they have streamer mode on. Salvage and repair. Added a tooltip on damage gear indicator explaining how to repair. Added the damaged gear indicator to the inventory screen when a player has damaged gear. Added a tutorial pop-up to better explain repair parts. Highlighted repair all and repair buttons to make them clearer when you have things that need to be repaired. And then notable bugs. I know that this one added proper icons to a number of items that were missing icons on the trading post. You have no idea how much that actually bothered me. I hated it whenever I was going through the trading post and I would look at something and it was like, it was just a placeholder. It literally said placeholder. It's like you launched a game and you didn't even have all the icons in. It made no sense. But anyway, update. Our team included these additional fixes in the Into the Void update. Fixed an issue where Chest and Lazarus's Instrumentality and Garden of Genesis were not properly contributing to the high watermark system. So the big one for anybody who's working on that watermark. Fixed issues preventing gear score 600 Arcana weapons from being crafted. T5 weaponsmithing pants now drop from the named enemy Atripi, which enables players to complete their full set of weaponsmithing apparel. Increased coin gain from expedition bosses starting in Starstone by 25% and ramping up to the in-game expedition bosses granting an additional 100%. So starting in Starstone, you're going to get 25% more gold for killing the in-game boss, and then all the way up through it ramps up until you get to the end-game expeditions where you are getting double the amount of gold. So running those now provide much more ample gold, so that's pretty nice, right? Thanks for your support. We'll see you in Eternum. It's time to vanquish some Varangian Knights. So, pretty interesting stuff, I'd say. Pretty interesting stuff. Overall, This patch was absolutely huge. I was actually really interested to see that they named it 1.1, but rightfully so, with the amount of bugs that they squashed in this, and hopefully there will not be any more bugs introduced to the game. That would be absolutely horrible, and I think that would put a really huge bad taste in everybody's mouth for that matter. We definitely don't need any more bugs, and for heaven's sakes, I certainly hope that nobody out there finds any way to duplicate any items or currency. Because my God, 2 shutdowns of the economy over that is just absolutely insane. But either way, overall, very beefy patch. I'm really looking forward to the new dynamics of the economy. It's going to take some getting used to, obviously, but overall, I know a lot of people are having some issues with this rollout and everything that they've changed, and I know a lot of people were freaking out about the changes made to the crafting system, but the changes that were made to the crafting system made absolute sense, and they were something that was desperately needed, right? The game didn't seem quite polished in that regard. And I think that with them making these changes, it gives it a bit more of a smooth progression, and it gives a purpose and meaning to all the recipes through the entire leveling curve, which should have been in place to begin with. Maybe it was a slight oversight on Amazon Game Studios' part, or maybe it wasn't. Maybe it was just something that they figured wasn't going to be a thing. As the saying goes, gamers, especially your hardcore ones, they always find a way to break something, right? They always find a way of squeezing out every bit of efficiency. So you're probably going to see even more changes maybe in the future to the crafting system. It's hard to say. So, but that's all I got for this video, guys. I'm sure it's already pretty long, but leave a comment down below. Let me tell you, or tell me what you guys think about this patch, and tell me what you're looking forward to the most. Tell me what you fear the most with this patch. Do you think that it's putting the game going in the right direction? Do you think it's taking it backwards in the wrong direction? Just give me your general thoughts. I'm very curious to see what you think. And maybe if I see some, good suggestions or some good arguments, maybe I'll put out a video on that as well, give my thoughts on those. So, if you guys found this video entertaining and found it helpful, hit a like on this video. And also, if you're not a member yet and you want to hear more from me and see more videos from me, smash that subscribe button and give that notification bell a little tickle. As always, guys, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the new world.